What's up, everyone? I'm back from San Francisco, and I have to say kudos to the construction and cleanup crews. You could never even tell that there was a giant monster death batch right there in the heart of the city. What's up, everyone? Fanboys Unleashed. Bringing you another review. This one is for the movie Snowpiercer, which is getting a U.S. release this coming weekend. It stars Chris Evans, Jamie Bell, Tilda Swinton, and Ed Harris. And in this world, global warming is causing major concerns with the planet. They try to come up with something to counter those effects, and it ends up freezing the entire world and killing off the majority of the human population. The only surviving members of this world are on this huge train called the Snowpiercer, which the rich are in the front of the train and the poor are in the back of the train. And the differences in the quality of life are very
significantly different.
Yes, big time. So the poor people decide to lead a revolt, and the battle begins. This movie, in the beginning, I mean, there's a lot of grit to it, but I didn't think there was going to be as much action in this movie as there ended up being, and I was pleasantly surprised to see so.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure where they were going with it at first.
Right. Yeah, tonally, it felt like almost, maybe this is a rough comparison, but kind of like a Schindler's List. Like, you just kind of felt like maybe it was going to be a dark and grim, but not necessarily action-packed film.
Right.
And then in the second act of the film, there's some shit to be had.
Yeah, it's complete 180, as far as action and non-action goes in this film. I mean, some of the scenes in there, it's kind of like Kill Bill.
No, it really is. I mean, there's one scene in particular that takes place with a bunch of hatchets that is just brutal as all hell. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to say like Raid 2 level, because nothing's probably quite that brutal, but it's
no, not
there.
quite at all.
It's up there as far as, and especially the movies we've seen this year,
Yeah.
I'd probably say it's the second most brutal movie we've seen this year, with the Raid 2 being way ahead.
Yeah.
And as you know, when we were talking about this movie earlier, I said, I cannot believe that Chris Evans is the same guy that was Jake Wilder in Not Another Teen Movie. This is probably the best acting performance I've ever seen from him. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, I said the same thing about him in Captain America.
Yeah, and even from there to this movie, just in terms of performance, I mean, he just blows it away. He knocks it out of the park.
He doesn't do any of his, like, signature facial features that he does in, like, every movie where he's like...
No, not one bit. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a full-blown beard and a beanie, and he's just, like, in the zone the entire movie. And I've never seen him act like this.
Yeah. I mean, you really feel like he's in this character. He's felt this pain. He's dealt with, the conditions of this life. And you all of that channels through him, and you feel every moment of it. And Tilda Swinton as the, what was her name? Mason, the old lady with the glasses, she was despicable as all hell in this movie, and she did her job being a villain that you rooted to see eventually.
Yeah, they really made you hate her.
Absolutely, and that was working quite well. The acting is pretty damn good all the way through, and there's a bit of a liberal undertone with the agenda. With the message you're trying to send out here, with class, warfare, global warming, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But that didn't bother me at all. I still enjoyed the story for what it was and appreciated the originality of it. I guess this is based on a book. But I love the way it was portrayed, and it was a damn fine film, and I hope it finds some success in U.S. theaters. So
Yeah, it's gonna get ripped a lot though for the graphics. You
Yeah.
know, for some of the graphics that they do have. One particular scene I'm thinking of in general. I mean, I don't want to give it away because that's a pretty big plot point. But I mean, if you go see this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like, man, kind of looks like Gears of War, like the original one.
Yeah, the scenes they show on the outside of the train, kind of zipping around the world, it's pretty weak CGI. That's really the major flaw of the film.
Yeah.
And I also felt like the ending was kind of jumbled. And
Yeah, I thought the ending was pretty ridiculous. I mean, obviously, we can't tell you what that is. Don't want to ruin anything, but I mean, I just had so much afterthought about this movie, and none of it was positive as far as the ending goes.
True, but I think for the majority of the film, though, I mean, I was invested all the way through until perhaps the very end.
Yeah.
You know, this is a tough film to score.
It really is. You know, and I'm not sure what exactly the budget was on this either, you know, so I mean,
Right.
that's probably what will have why the graphics took such a hit. Also, you know, I mean, especially if it's getting a theatrical release in the United States, dude, like, I don't know, man. I mean, how are people really gonna? Because I mean, you got to think like movies that we see are like Godzilla, unless it's only being released in art house films, like theaters.
Yeah, that I mean, I could understand that point of view too. But if this had proper budgets, like CGI wise,
Yeah, it would have been great.
you know, and I think this is an uncut portion of this film. I heard they were going to bastardize it for the U.S. audiences, and I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, so if you guys see it, you're gonna hate it then.
Right? You go ahead and score this first.
Putting the graphics aside, because I mean, this wasn't a very, you know, like CG driven movie. They had just, you know, the CG just was for scenery,
Right.
you know, for backgrounds and paneling, you know, whatever. Other than that, you know, like we were saying, I thought the acting was really good. The cast was strong. The storyline was good. I mean, everything was right on par, except for the end. The end kind of made it derail for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I was going smooth with it. I thought everything was great. And then, you know, just the very, very end, I was like, well, that sucks because this is going to happen now, you know. But that being said, you know, I'm going to have to go ahead and give it a 7.5.
Fair enough. I agree with you on all the points made, but I still appreciate the originality and the grit in the film. I'm going 8.5. I enjoyed it. It was a good film. I recommend checking it out. Hopefully you can catch it in the theater. If not, you know, when it hits Blu-ray, definitely check it out. So, what are some of the underground movies that you've seen this year that maybe didn't get a good theatrical release that you think are the best? Let us know below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and as always, thank you for watching.